Okay, I forgot to mention this in the video that is either coming or I'm putting this at the end of the video. I don't know where it will be. But if you see the How to Survive Scorpio season video and you look in the background and you see these kind of dying flowers and you're wondering, why does she have these dying flowers in this video? Because this is very Scorpio energy. Something beautiful that was once very vibrant and alive and beautiful, which is still beautiful, is slowly dying. It's slowly dying. It's slowly going away, but it still has this beauty, right? And then once these die, you can pluck the petals and create something totally brand new, some potpourri, or you can add it to a floral, like a fragrance or something like that, or an oil, which I probably will do. I may make a video about that. So if you look behind me in this video and you're like, why she got something dead? Because that's very Scorpio energy. Scorpio is able to take what is dead and resurrect it and make it new and bring new life. Scorpio is all about the energy of regeneration. And so I meant to talk about that in the video. So I'm gonna add this little snippet on either at the beginning or the end. Okay, that's it for real. All right. Peace. Greetings and welcome to Fall Alchemy episode 4, How to Survive Scorpio season. We are in the middle of Scorpio season, and you know the rule if you've been watching. No matter when your birthday is, when the sun is in a particular sign, that is the sign and that is the energy that you should be focusing on in the moment. So right now, since the sun is still in the sign of Scorpio, it doesn't matter if you're a Leo, a Virgo, a Sagittarius, an Aries, whatever, it doesn't matter. Right now is the time to focus in on the energy of Scorpio and how it is showing up in your life. No matter when your birthday is, everybody's a Scorpio, including you right now. So let's talk about how do we survive Scorpio season. If you watched episode 3, everybody's a Scorpio, including you, you know that Scorpio is like the alchemist sign. It is kind of what this whole seasonal alchemy, fall alchemy is all about. It is one of the most magical signs of the zodiac. Wherever Scorpio shows up in your chart, because it is somewhere in your chart, in your birth chart, is where you tend to be most magnetic and most magical and most able to create things that are not yet seen and do some really, really wonderful things, what some people may call magic or alchemy, right? Where you're able to best bring about transformation. And so that is what we are still focusing on. But there are certain tips and tools and strategies about Scorpio season that you need to know in order to survive it, in order to thrive in it, and in order to get to the next season, which is Sagittarius, with success, because each of these signs build upon each other. And so before I go any further, I would like for you to like, subscribe, share this video, and also leave me a comment below on how this video has impacted you. All right? So one of the key words for the sign of Scorpio is regeneration. Scorpio season is actually, very interestingly, is the kind of a time of death and dying. If you think about, this is the time that we celebrate, some people celebrate Halloween, some people celebrate All Saints Day or an Ancestors Day, the Day of the Dead. This is the time of the year where the ancestors are venerated, where we look back to our roots, we look back to where we've come from, and not just our mothers and fathers if they've passed on, or even our grandparents if they've passed on, but our whole ancestral line, because we are the product of our ancestors. And whatever they have done or created, we are kind of that legacy. And this is the time where, one, yes, we honor them, and then two, we decide how we want to continue that legacy. What parts of our ancestry do we want to continue in our own lives and in our descendants' lives? And then what habits or behaviors do we not want to continue? Even though we still honor our ancestors, but we know that there may be some things that we do not want to allow to continue to flow through our lineage, because one day we will be the ancestors that people look back on and honor and revere. And so we will be honored and revered based on the work that we're doing now. So Scorpio season, because it is the time of death, is really, or the time of honoring the dead, is the time to also look at what do you want to bring back to life? What do you want to be regenerated in the time to come? On the physical level, it is also about how your body is regenerating. You know, your skin cells, the cells within your body, how are they regenerating? We know that our cells are constantly dying and reproducing and dying and reproducing and dying and reproducing, but that's how we're able to stay healthy. If our cells are healthy, if they die a healthy death, then they reproduce more healthy cells. So how are we regenerating within our physical bodies is very much a Scorpio thing. This is the time to really look at, okay, you know, how healthy is my body? How healthy are my the cells of my body reproducing and regenerating in all aspects, all parts of our bodies, your skin cells, your, you know, and in particular, because Scorpio rules the reproductive area of our bodies, our prostate if you're a man, your uterus, ovaries if you're a woman. How is your reproductive health? Whether you want to have children or not, how are the parts of your body that are responsible for reproduction, how healthy are they? And so one of the things that I actually have on the table here, a good friend of mine, Mama J, she's an herbalist, and she makes this wonderful herbal tea that's good for the feminine reproductive organs, the feminine body, you know, your uterus, your ovaries, and keeping all of that toned and tightened. And so there are some amazing, I'll only tell you one because this is a proprietary blend and she made it for me. But one of the herbs in it is red raspberry, which is really good for feminine health and wellness. And so this is the time when we look at our reproductive organs, and I actually have my cup right here. Still very, very hot. But we look at our reproductive organs and we ask ourselves, how healthy are they? You know, this is not the time to ignore that part of ourselves, because that particularly in that area of our bodies where our reproductive organs, and in the sacral chakra area, for those of you who are taking my class right now, the Sexy, Powerful, and Loving 21-Day Chakra Reboot, you know we're on the sacral chakra right now. So that sacral chakra is ruled, is partially ruled by the Scorpio energy. You know, that reproductive, the health of our reproductive organs is ruled by Scorpio. So we have to look at how well are we caring for that part of ourselves, whether we want to have children or not. You know, it's still a part of our bodies, and our hormones are still corresponding with that part of our body. So it has to be healthy. We have to make sure that we take care of ourselves. And so, yeah, Scorpio is all about regeneration. What is dying off so a new generation can rise forth? And the new generation, whether it's, you know, your actual children or just your cells, you know, the new generation is a replica of what came before it. And so we have to learn how to let go of the things that are dying or are dead in a healthy way. And so we have to make sure that we end well so that we regenerate well. And that can even look at our relationships, perhaps relationships that have ended, or situations or job situations that are coming to an end, because remember, Scorpio does rule deaths and the endings of things. We have to learn how to bless those things so that in blessing them, we open the way for better opportunities to come to us. So one of the downsides of Scorpio energy is that it's the part of us that can be very manipulative. It can be jealous. You know, Scorpio energy on its lower end tends to be very jealous. So if you're dealing with jealousy, if you're dealing with bitterness, if you're dealing with resentment and anger, that is your Scorpio energy. No matter what your sun sign is, that is your Scorpio energy showing itself in imbalanced ways. And so Usually when you're jealous or angry or bitter, it's because something has ended in a way that was not pleasing to you. And then people say, well, just forgive and forget. And that's really hard to do. Forgiveness and letting go isn't so much about putting a pretty stick on something that was ugly. It's really about reclaiming your power. So when something ends that was not good, that was not healthy, you bless it. You say, you're not blessing it because you are, just blessing that other thing, while you continue to suffer. You bless it to work for your good. So you speak to that job that has ended, that relationship that has ended, and you say, thank you. Thank you for the lessons that you taught me while dealing with you, while dealing with this situation, while working on this job. Thank you. I thank myself for even being in that situation, waking up and realizing, that's no longer for me. That person is no longer for me. That relationship is no longer for me. That job is no longer for me. That house is no longer for me. That neighborhood is no longer good enough for me. So I'm not going to curse it. I'm not going to say, and point the blame, because that still leaves me in a powerless situation. But I will reclaim my power and say, thank you for the lessons that you taught me while I worked here, or while we were in a relationship, or while I lived in this neighborhood. I pray that this situation, this home, this person, this whatever becomes better for the next person who will live in this house, for the next person who will have this job after me, for the next person who will be in relationship with this person, because I don't want the next person to perhaps suffer the way that I suffered or go through the way that I went through. But I bless this situation to be a blessing to me. I bless the lessons that I learned in it so that I won't repeat this cycle over and over again. And what happens is, then when the thing ends, you don't end on a bitter note. You actually end on a much more positive note for you, right? And then you're able to move forward and bring forth better opportunities, because you're not swimming around in the pool of resentment and jealousy and anger and bitterness. You're actually elevating your own energy and opening the way so that better things and better opportunities and better circumstances and relationships can flow to you. So Scorpio energy is very powerful in that way, and that's how Scorpio energy becomes magical, because it begins to magnetize the right situations to you. But you have to end the old on a positive note, or on the best note for you. Okay, so also during this time, specifically this Scorpio season 2018, the planet Venus is in retrograde, partially in the sign of Scorpio, and then it'll go retrograde. It'll continue to go retrograde back into the sign of Libra, and then it'll come back forward into the sign of Scorpio. So with Venus, the planet of love and the planet of attraction, how we attract and who is attracted to us, being retrograde, we are asked to kind of slow down and reflect and review on the things that, number one, we have attracted to us in the past. Then reflect and ask ourselves, are we happy with that? The things that we thought that we liked, the people that we thought that we would be attracted to, or the situation, or even our clothing or our hairstyles, whatever that we thought was attractive. Do we still find these things attractive? With it being retrograde in the sign of Scorpio, we have to really go deep. Because remember, Scorpio is a very deep sign. It's not surface at all. You have to go deep. You have to be willing to face what you don't want to face. You have to face the good, the bad, and the ugly so that you can resurrect and rise again. So you have to go down deep and ask yourself, what do I really like? What do I really find attractive? What do I really want to draw into my life? And be honest. Scorpio will not let you get away with not being honest. You can't just like something because it's trendy, or that's what everybody else likes, or that's what your parents or your family says that you should like or want to have in your life. You have to be truly honest, because once Venus goes back into direct, and once it gets out of retrograde, you'll begin to attract those things to you. So right now is the time to really honestly, truly reflect on what you find attractive, and to be honest, because again, like law of attraction, that is what you will be drawing to yourself on a subconscious level, whether you like it or not, you know. So be honest with yourself about that. And this is also the time to be honest about your feelings. Allow yourself to be truly vulnerable with yourself. Journal about what you really, 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 really like, what you really, 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 really don't like, you know, and be willing to let go of the things that no longer serve you. If you remember, I said this in the previous video, that Libra season was all about looking at what is on the table and making a decision, and Scorpio comes right behind it to eliminate, to kill off the things that no longer that you no longer want. So you have to be honest with that, because this is the time, whatever you are saying you truly desire in your life is what you will start to plant in the spring season of 2019. This is actually the time to be looking ahead. You really need to be looking about 4, 5, 6 months ahead of today, okay? So that is it for how to survive Scorpio season, seasonal alchemy or fall alchemy episode 4. Make sure that you click my links below to like, subscribe, share, leave me a comment on how this video has impacted you. Make sure that you also click the link below and get my book, The Magic of Self-Love. It's a way to use self-love as a tool, almost like a magical tool to transform your life. That's all Scorpio energy. This is the time to get the magic of self-love. Seriously. Secondly or thirdly, also go to my website, TonyaPoole.com. And if you want to know where Scorpio is in your chart, because you do have Scorpio somewhere in your chart, and you want to know how Scorpio, how the energy of transformation and alchemy and sex and intimacy and all of those things, how they impact you specifically, go to my website and click work with me and get the Magic of Me intuitive natal chart reading. That's where I look at your specific natal chart and tell you not only where Scorpio is, but where all of the signs and planets are and what that actually means for you, because you are the magic. You just need to know what magical tools you came in here with on how to, so that you can best live your life and transform your life and do some wonderful things. And if you missed signing up for the Sexy, Powerful, and Loving 21-Day Chakra Reboot, make sure that you stay tuned to my website, TonyaPoole.com, Instagram, which is at the Tonya Poole, or Facebook, Tonya Poole Enterprises. And just stay tuned there, because I'm always releasing new opportunities, new programs, new classes and courses. So if you missed that opportunity, it's okay. Another one should be on its way. So make sure that you stay tuned and like and subscribe to me there. Until we meet again, I am wishing you much peace and love.